Hello and welcome to Billy Biketruck's Adventure Radio Show. The show that's all about adventure, travel, and yes, motorcycle. We've got some interesting stuff on the show today, including Enduro Bootcamps, the Dakar Rally, and a new UK-based motorcycle movement called We Ride London. And who have we got on the show today? Well, we'll be talking to Chris Hockey, alias Dr. Shocks, the man behind the UK Enduro Bootcamp concept. Daryl Bolter, one of the senior instructors from the bootcamp. Llewellyn Pavey, son of Simon Pavey, the one and only 10 times Dakar legend. And finally, the man himself, Mr. Charley Boorman, who'll be ranting on about the Dakar Rally and telling us about the new motorcycle movement that he's highly involved with, We Ride London, as well as giving us heads up on, get this, his brand new book due out in May, The Long Way Back. All this and more on the Billy Biketruck Adventure Radio Show. Hello and welcome to the show. So what the hell is an Enduro Bootcamp and why should we bother going to one? Well, it's a weekend of Enduro riding. And it's called a boot camp because it's sort of intense. It's intense in that it's about getting some stamina together, getting a bit of fitness together, and it's also about learning technique. I was told by many a good rider, Simon Pavey, for example, 10 times Dakar legend, the man himself, that the more off-road riding you can do, even on the smaller bikes, the better, because it's really going to help you with the bigger bikes, with the big adventure bikes, which at the end of the day, the big adventure bikes are what I do. I'm no enduro rider and I'm no trials rider, but I do literally 20, 30,000 kilometers a year on the big bikes, the Triumph 800s, the Triumph 1200s, the GS 1200s and stuff like that. So taking Simon's advice, I went off to the Dr. Shocks Enduro Bootcamp weekend near Ipswich in the UK and tried to find out a bit more about it.
Right, ladies and gents, welcome to Enduro Bootcamp. We've been blessed with the weather. It was supposed to rain today, so that's awesome. 3 1-hour sessions, similar format to the riding of yesterday. We're going to do 2 1-hour sessions and then have a lunch break, and then 1-hour session in the afternoon. Each group has 2 instructors. One lead.
So what's happening now is Chris Hockey is doing a bit of a pre-ride briefing, telling everyone how the day's going to go, how the format is, a bit about safety, all that kind of good stuff, and then we'll be riding.
But he's still in his prime. But they're going to be riding around the motocross track, and it's cool to watch them. Like I say, they're super fast. No one else is permitted on the motocross track at lunchtime, just the instructors. You know, it's time for you to refresh and have your drink and your food and just watch these guys. Or the Husqvarnas, new for the last 2 boot camps. We've got some Husqvarnas over there. So we've almost got one of every model, brand new 2017. And if anyone wants to try one at lunchtime, have a word with George. And then at lunchtime, you can rock over there and have a lap or 2 on each of the new Huskies. At the end of the very last session, if you can come back here again, and what we do is we have a nice big happy family team photo. And then, yeah, just say goodbyes and off we go.
Will it be emotional?
I think it will. It normally is, Billy.
You're listening to Billy Biketruck on Adventure Radio.
After the riders' briefing, I got together with Chris where he gave me a bit more information about boot camp, a little bit about his career, and more importantly, showed me my bike for the weekend, which was a really cool Husqvarna 300 two-stroke.
Okay, yeah, so I'm Chris Hockey. I run the Enduro Bootcamp series. It's a enduro school which specialises in riding off-road, but also the fitness element as well. I started riding motocross or scrambling back in 1978. Did schoolboy scrambling, motocross, all the way up to adult. Discovered enduro, absolutely loved it. I always used to do particularly well at motocross when it was wet and muddy, and going to enduro seemed to suit me really well. I found it more exciting, it was more interesting because it was like an adventure. You were going through forests, you didn't know what was coming next. So yeah, I've spent now 20 odd years doing enduro. Now I'm an old fossil, and I get a lot out of helping guys and making them improve and get better in their sport.
you ever win anything?
I won the subclasses, so I won the British Clubman Championship and then the British Expert Championship. Got a few ISD medals, and in East Anglia we have an East of England Enduro Championship, and I've won that 9 times.
9 times?
9 times.
Fuck, let's say that again. 9 times?
9 times, yeah, not 10 times, which is a little bit of a sore point, but there you go.
And tell me, what can an adventure rider learn from coming on a boot camp like this?
This is where all the Dakar racers and adventure riders that are, extremely good cut their teeth. The enduro and the scrambling on these machines, this is why they are so good at riding the big bikes. This bike is a Husqvarna TE 300 two-stroke.
I've heard in magazines and that the Husqvarna is the same as a KTM.
It's basically exactly the same bike. It pretty much comes off the same production line. The only difference being there's a linkage that holds the shock to the swing arm on most bikes, most Japanese, but all Japanese bikes. Husqvarna adopt that system, and KTM have a system where they don't have the linkage. It's an enduro bike. Its purpose is enduro. Enduro has sort of been changed slightly over the years. There's extreme enduro, and there's traditional enduros. In Wales, time card enduros, and then and where we are here in East Anglia, the enduros are more like motocross. They're sandy, whooped out, and the problem is that bike then is sort of asked to do all those 3 things. For extreme enduro, they're made lower. For the motocross type enduro, they're made firmer, harder. But they come standard. Generally, the suspension, for example, and the power delivery is generally set for trail ride. I think the majority of the people that buy these, the public, are kind of clubman guys, and they're trail riding, and so therefore they make the bikes for that purpose. So they are an enduro bike, but they're set up almost for trail riding. Basically, all bikes supposedly come set for the average guy. The average guy apparently is 12 stone-ish, somewhere between 11.5 and 13 stone, and over that and under that. The springs should be changed just to suit the rider. Basically, the bike needs to be balanced for it to go up and down properly, for it to turn properly. It needs to be balanced, and so therefore you can have softer springs for the lighter rider and firmer springs for the heavier rider. Power delivery is spoilt really nowadays. Like for years, the power delivery on two-strokes were very abrupt and very aggressive, but the good side to a two-stroke was they're very light. And then 4-strokes came out, and the power delivery was lovely, really smooth, really tractable, really quite manageable. No power band, but they were very heavy. And over the years, the 4-strokes have got better and better and better, lighter. The fuel injection system has made them even nicer power delivery, and lots of people were going to the 4-strokes. But they're still a little bit heavier than the 2-strokes. And now the 2-strokes, they've got come on so far with the engine, especially KTM and Husqvarna. They're producing the sort of 4-stroke like power, that lovely, no power band, move off the bottom, you can pull off in almost any gear, and you've got the advantage of them being so light, which is why Erzberg, Romaniacs, all these extreme races you rarely see a 4-stroke, because the 2-stroke now it's so light, and it's got a lovely 4-stroke like power delivery, But now I think a 2-stroke is nowadays the perfect bike for the tougher enduro, the harder enduro, the extreme stuff. What a lot of the ex-trials riders do, the big rocks and the big steep climbs. And so if someone wants to improve on a big bike, definitely get on these as much as you can, the enduro bikes, and your skills will just grow. And then you get on the adventure bike and it'll just be so much easier.
There was quite a few known faces at the boot camp and quite a few Dakar riders.
My name's Llewellyn Pavey. Dr. Shock's Boot Camp. It's an enduro training school, so it's a 2-day event where the first day is all about kind of improving bike fitness and beating yourself into shape a little bit, and the second part's where he's kind of got a bunch of instructors that are really, really high level riders, kind of pro class riders, that he brings in to teach you a few specific elements that they kind of to make your riding better. It's all scaled for your ability, and they take you to bits of the track that are difficult or that you maybe don't quite know how to do well, and they teach you how to do it well. That's sort of the idea anyway.
Chris is a fantastic and hugely experienced enduro rider.
Charley Boorman on Chris Hockey.
He did the pro circuit around Europe and Britain, and he's a multi-winning guy, a genius on a bike. But not only is he a genius on a bike, but he's a genius with suspension. It's basically a boot camp. So you come down, you learn about how to ride an enduro bike. He takes you on 3 different courses. So you have an extreme course, a motocross course, and a single track trail that goes through the forest, which is uber technical and very fast. but very easy to wrap yourself around a tree. And so...
but very doable as well.
Yeah,
with
absolutely
instruction,
doable, but it's all about learning how to do that, how to be a better rider off-road. It doesn't matter what experience you have, you're going to get something out of it. And he set up all our bikes for the Dakar Rally.
Oh, wow.
And one of the biggest ways to improve your motorcycle is suspension. So, I mean, you can ride in and see Chris with your bike and then ride out after he's done your suspension, and you think you've bought a different bike. I mean, it is unbelievable.
Oh, so yeah, because remind me now, the other side of Chris Hockey, one is he runs the boot camp. He's also an instructor at the BMW Off-Road School with the famous
Simon Pavey.
But he's also Dr. Shock's suspension.
Yeah, I mean, his main thing that we were down for this weekend is to have a look at his boot camp and what he does, and put everybody through their paces. I mean, this is the one time that I'm quite glad I've got bad legs, because I don't have to join in, because he has been roosting and putting all of you through your paces. So he does that with the boot camp, and then part of that, as you get faster and better riding, you become more and more interested in how your bike performs. And then another side to him is that he does suspension setup, which he's extremely, extremely good at.
Okay, tell me this. For the adventure bike rider, because that's what I am really. I'm not a big enduro rider.
Yeah, I can see that, quite clearly.
Thank you, Charles. But
That's right.
How does it work upwards? Is it a good idea to do the odd enduro boot camp, the odd little bit of enduro to help the big bike riding for the adventure rider?
I think that absolutely. I think any training on any bike, you can go from a track day around Donington racetrack on a sports bike, to ride enduro bikes, to trials bikes, to any format that you can think of is going to improve your riding. And the purest form of riding is riding off-road. And if you can be competent at that, everything that you learn off-road, you can apply on the tarmac and on your adventure. So absolutely. And when you get that little front end skid or something where you come into a corner and you brake a little too hard and your front locks up, and more often than not you go down, with a bit of experience, you will learn how to overcome all those kind of things. So absolutely cannot not help.
Yeah, one of the things we've been doing yesterday and today, Charlie, is body weight, body position, peg weight, throttle, clutch control, all coming in together, all like a recipe. Yeah. And then as he's learning us these bits and focusing on, say, peg weight's so important. Yeah. And we do peg weight all the time at the Simon Pavey School, isn't it? It's so important. It's an incredible feeling how they all come together.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you talk about peg weight, or you talk about throttle control, or you talk about clutch control, or you talk about all these kind of things, all these things are used if you're Valentino Rossi, or if you're someone who's decided to travel down through Africa, and all of those are important. For instance, if you're just standing on your pegs, if you want to see the difference it makes, stand on your pegs, go to a quiet bit of road, and nice long straight bit of road where there's no one around, and then stand up and shift your weight from one peg to the other, and see how you can turn the bike by shifting your weight on the foot pegs. And so your body and your body position and everything makes a huge difference. And when you're adventure riding and you're doing, what you and I did around Long Way Round, and ending up in the Road of Bones in the middle of nowhere in Far East Russia, you need all that help you can possibly get. And body position is as important as suspension setup, as your choice of tyres, and what everybody fails at mostly is taking too much crap on your bike as well. So overloading is another massive issue as well, and that can hugely destabilise a bike as well. Yeah. By having just too much stuff on the back of the bike, it makes it very wobbly, makes the back end all horrible, and it lifts the front and makes it very skitty. So all these tiny things make a huge difference.
Okay, so fair enough. Chris Hockey's credibility as both an instructor and a suspension expert is pretty clear. That's why they call him Dr. Shocks. I asked him about the group of instructors he uses on the boot camp. There's loads of them. He smiled and said, go talk to them yourself. Here's Darrell Bolter, Luke Parker, and Tom Elwood, just for starters.
Hi, my name's Darrell Bolter. I'm here today instructing at the boot camp. I'm a multi-British champion, currently British E1 champion this year. Won 2 European championships. I finished 3rd in the world at one point as well in the junior class. I'm also a multi-winner of the Welsh 2-day Enduro, big Enduro for us lot.
My name's Tom Elwood. I'm one of the demo guys at the Dr. Shocks Bootcamp. This year I won the British Enduro Expert Championship 2016. Also won my Class E2, riding the 300 4-stroke Sherco for Malcolm Rathmore Sport. Also managed to clinch the sprint title this year, which was a tough one.
My name's Luke Parker. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Norwich in Norfolk. I've been racing bikes since I was 6 years old. 2016, I got a bike from Honda UK, and they supported me through 16. I ended up winning the Michelin MX Nationals in the Expert MX1 class. I also won my local Expert Championship, which is the Eastern Centre. I did selected British Championship rounds, scored a couple of points and stuff, so looking forward to the 2017 season with a new team. Gavin Hockey is sorting me out with a Husqvarna, and supported by Husqvarna UK. I'm looking to do all of the British Championship and score some points and sort of take my career to the next level. Bit of a weekend warrior, but doing as best as I can.
Here you have it, the Dr. Shocks Enduro Bootcamp. I had a fantastic time there, learnt loads, had great fun, and I'm planning to go back for more. You can get more details from the Dr. Shocks website. That's www.drshocks.co.uk. That brings us to the end of part 1 of the Biketruck Adventure Radio Show. Hope you've enjoyed it so far. Coming up in part 2, we've got Llewellyn Pavey and the man himself, Charley Boorman, and we're talking Dakar and We Ride London, a new biking lobby group set up recently in London, and it's really starting to get some traction. Thanks for listening. See you in the second half.